On a medieval battlefield, many threats aimed at the head: arrows, broken lances, and stones from walls. A helmet guarded the skull, but it also showed rank and homeland. Across Europe and its borderlands, designs shifted as tactics and metalwork changed. Let's look at 6 more helmets following that change. The story begins with the Spangenhelm, an early landmark in medieval head protection. It used several curved iron plates fixed together by raised metal bands, often finished with a small cap on top. Inside sat a simple leather lining, and many versions added a straight nasal bar or a short mail curtain. The helmet appeared in Europe from the 6th century, especially among Frankish warriors. Pictures of Frankish troops at the Battle of Tours in 732 often show this segmented style. Because local smiths could build it from small pieces with basic tools, many soldiers could be armed. The Spangenhelm linked late Roman craftsmanship with the more fragmented politics of the early Middle Ages. Further east, a different answer to the same problem appeared in the form of the Lamellar Helm. Instead of one solid bowl, it used many small plates of metal or horn laced together with cord or leather. These rows overlapped like scales, so the shell could flex while spreading the force of a strike. The design suited the warfare of the Byzantines, the Rus, and steppe horsemen. The Madrid Skylitz's Chronicle, a 12th century manuscript, shows imperial cavalry in lamellar armor and helmets. For riders in the saddle all day, this lighter protection eased heat and strain. The Lamellar Helm shows how Eastern armies valued mobility as much as heavy iron. By the high Middle Ages, the helmet closed in around the wearer, producing the enclosed helm. In the late 12th century, Western Europe, armorers took the open nasal helm and added plates around the sides and face, creating a steel cylinder or cone that covered the head, pierced by narrow eye slits and breathing holes. It was made for heavy cavalry, meeting lances and arrows head-on. The Codex Manesse shows crusading knights in such closed helmets. Inside, heat, stale air, and muffled sound made fighting difficult. So many riders lifted or removed it when danger eased. The enclosed helm shows how rising danger on the battlefield pushed armor toward full enclosure, even at the cost of comfort. In the 15th century in Italy, armorers looked back to antiquity and produced the Barbute. The metal was shaped from a single plate that wrapped around the sides and jaw, leaving a T-shaped or Y-shaped opening at the front. The outline was smooth, with few extra parts, and its profile echoed the ancient Greek Corinthian helm. Italian knights, mercenaries, and city militias all used versions of this compact design. Surviving pieces in major collections show polished steel, with modest decoration from Venetian and Milanese shops. The Paduan Bible picture book places barbutes on soldiers in mid-15th century scenes. It offered a mix of vision, breathing space, and facial cover, fitting a wider Renaissance trend of mixing classical taste with better forging. Outside the battlefield, tournaments created their own specialized helmet, the Frogmouth Helm. Also called the Stechhelm, it appeared in late 14th century German lands as jousts became formal contests. The crown rose high, the back flared to guard the neck, and the front formed a deep box with a narrow slit angled upward, like an open mouth. Plates were thick and often bolted to the breastplate, so the upper body became one fixed unit. The Turnierbuch shows riders locked into these helms with their lances raised. Once it was fixed, the wearer could hardly look down or turn the head, relying on helpers and a trained horse. This helmet belonged to the controlled violence of the lists, where show and ritual shaped armor more than battle. As gunpowder weapons spread, a lighter, more open helmet became common, the Burgonet. It appeared in the early 16th century from workshops in northern Italy and the Holy Roman Empire as full-plate armor began to thin. The typical form had an open face, a high comb along the crown, hinged cheekpieces, and sometimes a small peak above the eyes. The open front gave officers, pikemen, and light cavalry clearer sight and easier speech on crowded fields. At the Battle of Pavia in 1525, helmets of this family appeared among troops using pikes and early handguns. More room for hearing and breathing made long marches and fast actions less tiring. The Burgonet stands at the edge of the medieval world, linking closed knightly helmets to the more open headgear of early modern soldiers. From banded early domes to open crested shells, these helmets show how warfare, craft, and power shifted over many centuries. For clearer looks at medieval weapons, armor, and society, consider subscribing to Medieval History.